Hello and welcome back to the final lecture in ACE 497, Human-Robot Interaction. I'm your instructor, Dr. Carlotta A. Berry, and today we will discuss the details of the final project that you will work on for the last 2 weeks or so of the quarter. The objectives of the final project are to describe, the purpose and requirements for the final project and to describe the formatting and content required for the final project report. The final project requirements are to design an interaction between the Blossom robot and a human. The interaction should include some of these components: robot movement, hand gestures, facial recognition, bidirectional conversation by using speakers, cameras, microphones, text-to-speech, student speech-to-text, and be a student design. So if you look at this image to the left, this is the process of human interaction, robot interaction we're going to use. You're going to have a human and a robot situated somewhere in the environment. There will be some physical interaction between them, such as the human walks up and waves their hand, and the robot then greets them or moves in greeting, nods, etc. Then there's some social interaction or some type of conversation between the two, where the human now gives its intention to the robot, and the robot then provides feedback in the course of this conversation or interaction. The final project requirements include writing the code to implement the human-robot interaction design, commenting the code to just clearly describe what it should do, creating a demonstration to show the features of your interaction design, having at least 5 participants in the commons area walk up and interact with your robot while they complete a survey at the end. So you have to create a survey instrument for users to complete after interacting with the robot. Then on the last day of class, set up the robot demonstration in the commons, recruit participants to interact with your robot, and complete the survey. The interaction should be no more than 5 to 10 minutes, and completing the survey should not take participants more than 5 minutes. As part of your final project report, you will then summarize the results of that survey, talk about lessons learned, what went well, what didn't go well, draw conclusions, and recommendations for future work. The final project report includes the following components. It should be typewritten in Microsoft Word. All pages should be numbered, should have a cover and a title page, a table of contents, headings as needed, figures and tables numbered with captions and referencing the text, a cover page and abstract, a table of contents, and the content of the table and contents includes the abstract, introduction, theory, methods, results, conclusions and recommendations, references, appendix, and supplementary materials. The abstract is a brief summary of the purpose of the final project and all the relevant parts in your words. It's typically a mini highlight reel or movie preview of your report. So it should have not only the problem you're solving, a little bit of discussion of the method, and at a high level, the results in the conclusion. It should be detailed enough so that the reader understands what you did and what the robot was able to accomplish and whether they want to read more in your report. The introduction describes the purpose or need for the interaction, why you think it was important and relevant to do this work. The theory provides a background from your research on what was necessary to implement the final project. You must cite at least 3 sources from textbooks, journals, papers, readings, internet resources, and then using a format such as MLA, Chicago, or APA. All these references and citations must be in this format, and you can go to the Purdue Online Writing Lab in order to get examples of MLA, Chicago, and APA format reference citations and inline citing. And your method is to summarize any algorithms that you use to achieve the purpose and procedure of the final report. And it should also discuss if you made a GUI, your control architecture, any state diagram, pseudocodes, assumption architecture, flowchart, etc., and include links to any demo videos in the appendix, as well as links to your code on GitHub. The results section should now summarize the results of any test used to verify that the robot accomplishes goals, including your survey results, discuss whether you were able to achieve the purpose, discuss any errors that the robot had that you observed, as well as possible causes and solutions, as well as any mismatch between intention between the human and the robot, qualitative and quantitative results, any images, videos, etc. that help explain your results, images of your robot doing each of the interactions that it was designed to do with the human participant, questions that should be answered in the results in any appropriate section, and finally, a conclusions and recommendation, where you discuss the results and whether you were able to achieve the final project objective. What did you learn, observe, achieve? What were possible sources of error? Were there expectations you had for the robot that it was not able to meet? Were there expectations you had for the human based upon the interaction you designed that they were not able to execute, etc.? Provide recommendations for improving your implementation of the final project, and any questions you still may have, and how could you expand or build on what you did in future areas for work or improvements. And finally, once again, all references must be included in the end before the appendix, and they should be in a standard format such as APA, Chicago, or MLA. And then in the appendix, you would include any relevant links, graphics, content, images that are too large for the main body of the report, pseudocode, flowchart, UML diagrams. All figures should have captions and titles and be referenced in the text. Any code excerpts that are important. Your survey instrument should also be in the appendix, as well as any charts or graphs or data based upon the participant responses to your survey. And properly commented code, survey results, images, video links. In the end, finishing your report, run it through a grammar and spell checker. You may even want to use AI to do the grammar and spell checker. Make sure you read your report out loud to make sure it makes sense and that all required content is available, and that you catch all grammatical, spelling, word choice, and capitalization errors. Confirm that all figures and tables are formatted correctly and that you have citations as needed and all parts are relevant. You may want to have a friend read it for clarity to help you to identify any such mistakes. And this concludes the final lecture.